Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into really one of the most chilling true crime stories. It's a case that's stretched over decades.
A really complex one.
Yeah, involving a killer with, well, so many identities. And it actually changed forensic science forever. We're going into the mystery known as the Brook murders. It all starts in, what seems like a peaceful place, Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. But a horrific discovery there kicked off an investigation, unlike any other.
It really did.
So get ready. We're going through some perplexing finds, cold trails, and just the slow, really tough process of uncovering a monstrous truth.
And what's striking, beyond the horror, is how this case forced investigators to innovate. They had so little to go on initially, they had to push the science.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's set the scene. It's the summer of 1985. Hot. Some kids from a nearby trailer park, they're playing out in Brook State Park, exploring the woods like kids do, and their playing leads them to find this big 55-gallon steel drum just sitting there. They actually managed to roll it about 100 yards. But when they went to look inside, they were hit with this just awful smell. One of them described it like rotten milk. Yeah. So thankfully, they didn't look too closely, didn't know what was inside, and they just left it, went back to playing. But then, not much later, a deer hunter is in the same area. He stumbles across the same drum, now tipped over. Maybe the smell caught his attention, maybe just curiosity.
Right.
He looks inside and finds, well, he described it as an absolutely horrific crime scene.
Yeah.
Inside that drum, the decomposed remains of two people. An adult woman they thought maybe late 20s, and a younger girl maybe around 9.
So decomposed, it was hard to be sure about the ages.
Exactly. Both wrapped in plastic. Investigators determined pretty quickly they'd both been beaten to death. Blunt force trauma to the head.
Awful.
Police figured the murders happened sometime between 1977 and 1985. That's a huge window.
A massive window. 8 years. That alone is a huge hurdle.
For sure. So they launched this big investigation, checking missing persons records, sending out drawings of the victims, all over New England, even Canada.
Standard procedure, but difficult here.
Yeah, but nothing. No matches. Nobody seemed to be looking for these two. The trail just went completely cold.
And that time frame, 77 to 85, because of the decomposition, it just made everything exponentially harder. No IDs, no clear starting point. Huge challenge from day one. They were really relying on forensic anthropology for anything they could get.
And cold it stayed. For 15 years, think about that. Then, fast forward to the year 2000.
Right.
This unsolved case lands on the desk of a new state trooper. He decides, fresh eyes, let's go back to the original scene, see if anything was missed.
Due diligence.
And what he finds just changes everything. He finds another steel drum, looks just like the first one, and it's only about 300 feet from where the first drum was found.
Wow. After all that time.
Yeah. Inside this second drum, 2 more victims, little girls, estimated ages maybe 2 and 3 years old.
Oh.
Same cause of death, blunt force trauma. The police explanation was that the second barrel was just outside the edge of the original search area.
Incredibly frustrating for them, I imagine.
Must have been. So now you have 4 victims, still totally unidentified. They start calling them the Allenstown 4. Theories start flying. Yeah. Serial killer, someone who knew that remote area really, really well.
It had to be someone familiar with the park, you'd think.
But still, no leads. The case hits another dead end, just deeper into the freeze.
Finding that second barrel, it confirmed the horror was connected, but it also just deepens the mystery. Now it's clearly a pattern, not isolated.
Yeah.
But who are these people?
Right. But then science starts to offer a little bit of light. Early DNA testing. This was still relatively early days for DNA in some ways, but they got a hit.
Okay.
They found that the youngest child, the little girl from the second barrel, and the oldest child, the 9-year-old from the first barrel, were maternally related to the adult woman in the first barrel.
Meaning same maternal line, mother, daughters, maybe aunts, nieces.
Exactly. They couldn't pin down the exact relationship at first, but that maternal link was solid. But here's the kicker. The middle child, the 3-year-old from the second barrel, no relation, not related to any of the others.
That's odd. Really odd. Changes the dynamic completely.
Totally. So the maternal links made them think, okay, maybe this is domestic violence related somehow.
a common initial theory in cases like this.
And then another forensic clue came from isotope analysis, looking at elements in their bones and hair, stuff absorbed from the local environment, water, food.
Stable isotopes, yeah.
Yeah.
They can tell you a lot about where someone lived.
Right. And that analysis suggested the victims had been living in the Allenstown, New Hampshire area for at least maybe 3 months before they were killed.
So they weren't just dumped there from far away. They were local, at least for a time.
Seems like it.
It's fascinating how those clues point in slightly different directions. The family connection suggests something personal, maybe domestic violence, like you said. The local isotope data confirms a geographical link. But then that unrelated child, it throws a wrench in the simple theories. It's pretty amazing they could even get that much detail from remains in that condition.
It really is. Okay, now, the story takes a huge turn. Seems totally unrelated at first. We have to go across the country to California, also back in 1985.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Gordon Jensen living in a trailer park. He has a little girl with him, calls her Lisa. Neighbors, the Deckers, they get friendly with them. But they notice Lisa seems, well, kind of sickly, neglected. Gordon tells them her mom died of cancer. The Deckers get worried.
Understandable.
Eventually, they end up adopting Lisa because Gordon just seems unable or maybe unwilling to care for her. But soon after the adoption, Lisa starts showing signs of abuse, molestation, and torture. Awful stuff. So the police get involved. They go to Gordon Jensen's trailer. It's got Texas plates registered to some motel room. Already suspicious.
Red flags.
They lift fingerprints from the trailer. And Gordon Jensen. Turns out his real name is Curtis Kimball. He'd been arrested before in California for drunk driving.
So already using an alias.
Exactly. And they also discover Lisa. Not his daughter, not even her real name. She'd been kidnapped.
Oh my God. So he wasn't even her father.
Nope. Kimball gets arrested for child abandonment in '88, faces charges for the abuse, abandonment, stolen vehicle, but somehow he pleads guilty only to the abandonment and the stolen vehicle charge.
The molestation charges were dropped.
He gets out of prison in 1990.
That whole California story is disturbing on its own. It just shows this guy. Yeah. Kimball was already deeply manipulative, using fake names, involved in kidnapping, abuse, long before anyone connected him to New Hampshire.
Exactly. A very dangerous person, operating way under the radar. So how does this connect back to Bear Brook? Decades later, this connection becomes terrifyingly clear.
I'm listening.
In 2003, police start trying seriously to figure out who Lisa really is. But the big break doesn't come until 2013. Lisa, now an adult, she has these very fragmented memories. She remembered maybe having siblings who died from eating bad mushrooms.
Wow, a childhood memory like that. Could be anything, but it's a lead.
It was something. And then, in 2016, forensic genealogy, this newer technology. It completely breaks the case open. They're not just using criminal DNA databases now.
Right, this is using public genealogy sites, ancestry databases.
Exactly. Places people upload their DNA to find relatives. Investigators uploaded the unknown DNA profile, found distant relatives, and then painstakingly built family trees backwards and forwards to pinpoint who Lisa was.
Incredible technique. Really changed cold case work.
Totally. And using this, they find Lisa's real mother. Lisa's real name is Dawn Bowden.
Finally, an identity. Dawn Bowden.
And Dawn's mother, Denise Bowden. Denise had disappeared from New Hampshire back in 1981. She vanished with her boyfriend at the time, a guy named Bob Evans.
Bob Evans.
And here's the thing. Denise was never reported missing.
Just vanished. No trace reported.
Right. But investigators find out this Bob Evans, he showed up in New Hampshire in the late 70s. And get this, he worked in the Bear Brook area right around 1981.
Okay, there's the geographical link, Bear Brook again.
And then the clincher. They show Denise Bowden's father a picture of Curtis Kimball, the guy who abandoned Dawn Lisa in California. Right. He identifies him immediately. That's Bob Evans.
Whoa. So Gordon Jensen, Curtis Kimball, Bob Evans. All the same guy.
All the same men. Suddenly, the police have their first real suspect for the Bear Brook murders. Was Denise Bowden the adult woman in the barrel? Was this Bob Evans the killer? They had to find him.
That convergence, it's just stunning. A cold case in New Hampshire, a kidnapping in California. Yeah. Suddenly, it's all pointing to this one shadowy figure, Bob Evans, a.k.a. Curtis Kimball. It really highlights the power of that genealogical DNA work they were finally closing in.
So the hunt for Bob Evans is on, but it leads to another dead end. In a way, he's already dead. Turns out, in the late 90s, Bob Evans changed his identity again. Now he's Larry Vanner. He's in California, marries a woman named Unsoon June.
Another alias. This guy.
Unbelievable, right? Well, Unsoon June goes missing. A friend reports it. Police start investigating her husband, Larry Vanner.
Okay.
They run his fingerprints, and guess what comes back?
Curtis Kimball.
Curtis Kimball. And his parole status for abandoning Dawn Bowden years earlier.
The past catches up.
It does. Investigators search the place. They find this suspicious mound of cat litter under June's garage. They dig.
Oh, no.
Underneath. Unsoon June's mummified body. Bludgeoned to death. Dismembered.
Horrific. Just horrific.
Larry Vanner pleads guilty to her murder, gets 15 to life. Apparently, he pled guilty partly to stop them digging deeper into his past. He died in prison in 2010.
So he never faced justice specifically for Bear Brook?
Not directly. But his identity was finally known. The man behind Gordon Jensen, Curtis Kimball, Bob Evans, Larry Vanner, his real birth name was Terry Rasmussen.
Terry Rasmussen.
A suspected serial killer. Nicknamed the Chameleon. Just traveled around, new name, new life, leaving victims behind.
A terrifyingly accurate nickname.
His pattern, his MO, was chilling. Invent a fake identity, often pretending to be a single dad. Use that to meet women, often women with kids. Then molest the kids, kill the women.
Fifth's what happened to Dawn and her mother and Unsoon June.
Exactly. Police now believe Rasmussen probably killed Denise Bowden, Dawn's mother, sometime after they left New Hampshire together in '81, but her body has never been found. She was not the adult woman in the first barrel.
So Denise's fate is still unknown, but she wasn't one of the Allenstown Four.
Correct. But the absolute concrete link to Bear Brook, they tested Rasmussen's DNA against the victims. He was the biological father of the middle child, the 3-year-old girl in the second barrel, the one who wasn't related to the others.
Wow. So he killed his own daughter and 3 others.
That's what authorities now firmly believe. Terry Rasmussen killed the Allenstown Four, killed Unsoon June, almost certainly killed Denise Bowden, abused and kidnapped Dawn Bowden, and who knows how many others.
That confirmation, tying Rasmussen directly to one of the Bear Brook victims through DNA and knowing his MO, it paints such a clear, chilling picture. His ability to just disappear, reinvent himself, and repeat these horrendous crimes across the country.
Yeah.
It's the stuff of nightmares. It shows how someone like that can exploit trust and vanish.
And even though they identified Rasmussen, the case isn't fully closed. There are still these deep, lingering questions.
Right.
We know Rasmussen was the father of the middle child. But who was the adult woman? Who were the oldest and youngest children in those barrels? We still don't know their names.
Their identities remain a mystery.
Yeah. How did they connect to Rasmussen? Were they related to each other beyond the mother-child links? Until we know that, it feels unfinished, you know?
Absolutely. A huge piece missing.
And Denise Bowden. What really happened to her? Her family still doesn't have answers, no closure. Her body's never been recovered.
Tragic loose ends.
But the impact of this case, it's huge. The Bear Brook investigation basically pioneered using investigative genealogical DNA for criminal cases like this. It proved it could work.
It really set a precedent.
Yeah, and that technology, refined partly because of this case, was later key in solving huge cold cases, like the Golden State Killer. It's given hope to so many other families.
It's that strange dichotomy, isn't it?
Yeah.
This absolutely horrifying story, decades of pain and mystery. But it directly led to scientific breakthroughs that have brought justice in other cases. It's a grim legacy, but a powerful one for forensic science.
It really is. The story of the Bear Brook murders, it's just profoundly chilling. Extreme deception, unimaginable violence, but also this relentless chase for the truth over decades, even after the killer was dead. And Rasmussen, the chameleon. It's a scary reminder of how easily darkness can hide right in front of us, how even quiet places can hold terrible secrets. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other truths are out there, maybe waiting for this same technology to uncover them?
It does.
We hope this deep dive gave you a real understanding of this tragic but also really transformative case. If you found this story compelling, if you want more explorations into these kinds of shadows, please think about liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel, Horror Docs.
Your support really helps.
It does. It helps us keep bringing these important, though often difficult stories to light. Thank you for joining us.
Until next time, stay vigilant.